Okay, so I'm gonna go over each one of my matches this season that I played, not too in detail, but just to get you a sense of how I played the season and what I got done in each match. So starting with week 1, we're just gonna head straight into this. We were facing MrCarbonite and the Tulsa 2 Cannons. I highlighted his team on the screen as shown. It did not really change. You see he has Cryogenal right now in the season, but at the time within the season he had a Mudsdale instead. His team consists of Thunderous T, Slowbro, Amoonguss, Rotom Heat, Noivern, Golurk, Mega Lopunny, Sylveon, Magnezone, Zoroark, and Mudsdale. So looking at that, Thunderous T is a bit of a problem for me. I have ways to deal with this. Amoonguss I don't really expect for him to bring just because I have so many just different ways to deal with it. I'm not really worried about it. My Komala has 2 Comatose, so he can't put me to sleep with Spore because I could just kind of switch in on that. Rotom Heat is always really hard to prep for in league matches, and this makes bringing Celesteela a bit harder this particular first week. Mega Lopunny, very big threat to any team, honestly, and I'm not really going to bother you too much with the rest of the details. Magnezone also traps my Celesteela, so he had three electric types to kind of deal with my Celesteela, which was kind of made me hesitate in bringing it week 1. So I'm just gonna go straight into the team that I decided to bring. First of all, we have our leftovers defensive Arcanine. This was basically just for Lopunny and also to take care of mons like Slowbro. So that's the reason we have both Will-O-Wisp and Toxic, because this thing can switch in on Lopunny. It's extremely bulky, as you can see, 90-80 HP defense. That's not bad. And after we get the Intimidate off, Lopunny's not going to be doing crap to us, especially since we can just heal off anything whenever we want with Morning Sun. And then we can always just burn it with Will-O-Wisp. So that's basically what this set does. Our Latias is Colbur Berry to scout for the Zoroark. Psychic Roar, Ruse Toxic, very general, especially defensive set, also allows us to switch into Thunderous T. We have our very fat Piloswine, because rocks are going to be very important. He does not have a lot of hazard removal, and many of his mons are weak to this. It's also just great having a ground type on this team, and also mon with Ice Shard priority, because this can also switch in very well on hits from Thunderous T. And that's just basically what it's here to do. It protects you for scouting. Our Komala is also extremely defensive, so that's 4 defensive mons in a row right here. Wish, U-Turn, Rapid Spin, Protect, very basic, and it can just switch in on any Amoonguss set that he wants to bring. Our Roserade is Choice Scarf, Technician. This is very interesting. It was originally Life Orb max speed, but I mocked with a friend and we changed this to be Choice Scarf at the very end, which is going to actually turn out to be important in the match, as you will soon see. Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain is just regular stab. He doesn't have a mon like Cleft Key to soak up hits from this, but he does have Magnezone. Magnezone, I didn't prep for really well enough looking back at this team builder, but Hidden Power Ground really takes care of that, and Extra Sensory just in case Sludge Bomb isn't doing enough to the Mega Lopunny. And lastly, we have our Celesteela, which is Rockium Z, Autotomize, Heavy Slam, Earthquake, Stone Edge, and it's just basically to late game sweep. If Rotom Heat is still there, a bit weakened, we can kind of take it out with the Rockium Z, and that should be a wrap. Okay, so that's our team for week 1, and as you can see, he actually did not bring Magnezone, which is actually huge for me. So that really makes me happy. The team that he does bring is Thunderous Therian, Lopunny, Zoroark, Amoonguss, Slowbro, regular Slowbro, I almost said Mega Slowbro, and Rotom Heat. So a lot of the mods I was expecting. Kind of glad to see Mudsdale was not there, because I didn't really prep for that as well either. So this team matchup's looking good. I decided to lead off with Arcanine just in case he decides he just wants to lead off with the Mega Lopunny. He decides to go into Thunderous Therian first, and I'm gonna check if this is Scarf, and the fact that he goes for a U-turn right away leads me to believe that this is indeed a Scarf type of Thunderous Therian. So I just go back into Latias. Latias is designed to soak up hits. I can also get a Toxic on the slow bro, which we do immediately, put this thing on a timer, and that is absolutely huge. As he reveals the Signal Beam, which really isn't that bad because it's not doing that much. We are just extremely bulky on the special side. It's designed to soak up hits like this. So he goes out into Rotom. I predict the switch, and I go for a double Toxic. I don't think he's going to be wanting to stay in, letting the Slowbro get kind of worn down. He reveals the Dark Pulse, and that pops my Colbur Berry, so this is indeed the Zoroark. I was wondering like why he would bring Rotom Heat, and I feel like I should have figured it out by that point that it was the Zoroark, but I had not. So I decided to bring out my specially defensive Komala, which does not really take that Dark Pulse very well. Komala is really not as bulky as people would like it to be, I feel like, just based on what it is. So I get a Wish Up, and I can just switch into any Mon very, very easily right here. I decided to go into Arcanine, try to get a Will-O-Wisp off on this thing. He reveals the Power Up Punch. Now this is kind of scary, because if he does get some of my Mons out of the way, he can very easily sweep me, especially since my team isn't very fast. And he goes into Slowbro as I go for the Will-O-Wisp, and I realize that although Slowbro is on a timer from the Toxic, it really doesn't matter as long as he's getting his regen boosts. He can't burn me with Scald, so I'm not worried about that. And in fact, I'm just gonna go for Another Wish and try to bring my other Mons back up to help. He goes into Amoonguss, which I'm just like, why did he go into Amoonguss? Because Amoonguss literally does nothing for me. Tries to Toxic me. I don't think he knows that Comatose was a thing. So we're just gonna get back up to full, and we're gonna get some more wishes off of my other Mons. I'm very actively aware that I have a limited amount of wishes, so this particular swap cycle is gonna have to end sometime soon. And for some reason here I go for another Will-O-Wisp. For some reason I think he's just gonna stay in when Slowbro is literally the most safe option ever for him. So I just want him to feel like this is a very safe option before I bring in a Mon like Roserade to kind of clean one of these guys up. As he goes for another Scald, like on my Komala, we're 16 turns in and nothing has really happened. All of our Mons are basically at full. Zoroark's a bit weakened, and that's something to keep in mind. So I predict his switch, or I just go for some good U-turn damage, and I am able to get my Latias in. And on this turn, I predict him to want to switch out of Zoroark, and I go hard into Komala, as he actually reveals the Payback. Now this is insane tech for this game, and it actually does a lot against my Latias. It's actually going to be doing over half, as you'll see later in that game. And this is a physical Amoonguss set, and that's heat right there. I really appreciate seeing a set like that. That's really creative, and I'm sure other people have brought it too, but that's the first time I've seen a physical Amoonguss used in a Draft League game. So we keep this particular swap cycle out. I really don't have anything to do. I don't want this Lopunny getting too strong, so I'm kind of obliged to stay in and just go straight for the Flare Blitz as he goes into Slowbro. On this turn I decide to break this particular swap cycle. I don't think he's going to be going for a Psychic or Psyshock, so I hard into Roserade. As he mentions that the swap cycle was brutal, and he goes for the Scald, doesn't get a burn, hasn't been really getting burned, but that's because most of the Scalds have been on the Komala. And he decides to stay in and let the Slowbro go down, and this is huge. It opens up the door to so many other things, and he forgets that his Zoroark has already been revealed, and it's toxic and is a bit weakened, so he decides to just go straight into Zoroark, and that was a big mistake because I saw it right through that, and I just went straight for the Giga Drain, and now Roserade has already 2 kills. We're able to Ice Shard, as Thundurus actually reveals he is not Scarf, going for the Psychic and then the U-turn, so that is fine with me. It's smart that he decided to bring the Psychic, that he decided to bring U-turn instead of Volt Switch, considering how many ground types they had. So Lopunny's going to decide to want to set up with his power-up punches, and it's really not going to matter. I'm going to get off some nice ice shards, just going to let my Pilot Swing go down. It did a good amount, and then we're going to revenge it with an extra sensory that's going to be able to take that Lopunny down. Now he goes out into his actual Rotom Heat, as I just go into my Latias, because Latias can just take care of anything, as he decides to double into Thunderous Therium and throw off a Dark Pulse, which now I have my Colbur Berry is gone, and he actually flinches me, which is really unfortunate, and he's able to go for the U-turn the following turn to basically bring me down to a very, very low amount. And I'm able to get like a Psychic off on the Rotom, but it's not really doing much. So I'm thinking the way I win this game is really with Latias, because Latias can beat all three of these mons. So what I want to do is to go into my Komala, and I want to Wish Up and U-turn, slow U-turn into the Latias. He goes for the Overheat, and Komala really eats that up pretty well, as I believe he decides to switch on this turn. Right, he goes into Thunder Therium, and we're going to be U-turning on the switch, and we're going to be getting our Latias back up to a fairly good amount of health. Yes, as you can see right there. He goes for a second Dark Pulse, hoping for a flinch, but this time he is not able to get it, and we are able to take out the Thunderous Therium, putting us in a very, very good state to basically just win this game. I roosted up here. I want to see how much this payback does, and it's actually doing over half, as you can see. That did 52%, so I cannot stay in on this thing. I just go into the very safe Arcanine switch. Not thinking he wants to go for a Spore, as he does not. He just goes for a second payback, which is fine, because now he has no switch ins to a Flare Blitz or Toxic or whatever. So I just go straight for the Flare Blitz. I'm able to get rid of this Amoonguss, and out comes the Rotom Heat as his last stand against me. So overall, yeah, this was a very, very good week 1. I feel like I prepped very well. I'm really glad that Roserade was able to put in a very good amount of work. I felt like parts were a bit too defensive for my taste. Like at the beginning, like the swap cycle, it was fairly brutal, and that was something I probably could have broken more easily. Here I just decided to meme on him, as you can see. You're like, why would I be switching on Stella? I can get it a kill right now with Rocky MC, and that really does not hurt, as he goes for a second Overheat. As long as he doesn't crit, which he does not, I'm able to get off this Z Stone Edge, I believe, and just absolutely annihilate the Rotom to end the game. But yeah, looking at my team, I could have brought a lot more offensive sets, and that's something we kind of looking for going forward. So week 2, as you will see very soon, I decided to bring a more offensive team. Okay, so here we are with our week 2 matchup. This game was against SlimDuck and the Nightingale Knights. SlimDuck basically came on very, very short notice and subbed in for a guy who had left right after week 1. So this was kind of spontaneous, this particular match. When I challenged him, he had not actually built a team, so he did that in like 5 minutes, and you'll see what happens. But this was a very, very fun game. He has the Lando T, Ferrothorn, Chandelure, Slurpuff, Vikavolt, Avalugg, Mega Medicham, Azumarill, Nihilego, and Ursaring and Drampa. So overall, extremely offensive team. Very scary. A lot of threats can just absolutely destroy me. Mega Medicham, very, very huge thing against me. That thing can just break through literally anything. Azumarill, Belly Drum. Slurpuff, Belly Drum. Nihilego, Beast Boost. Chandelure has one of the highest special attack stats with 145. Landorus T, Double Dance. Vikavolt, Agility. Literally this entire team, it's absolutely terrifying to, I suppose, prep against and also just face, because there are just so many threats and so many possibilities. So I'm just gonna go straight into the team builder. I decided to bring a more defensive Celesteela than last time, because I know like I can't really do that much this time. I decided to bring this particular set because it hits every one of his mons fairly well, and with Rocks up, this can be really good because his Chandelure and Vikavolt are all weak to Rocks. They have limited switch-ins. Heavy Slam, Leech Seed, Protect, Flamethrower. Flamethrower mainly for the Ferrothorn. Can also hit a lot of other mons like Avalugg, for example. And with this particular spread, I'm going to be getting defense boost, which is pretty huge, as most of his mons are more defensive. Next up, we have our Doug Trio. We're bringing this Choice Scarf because I can trap a few mons. Like, Chandler is like one of the biggest threats to this team for sure. So I just thought it would be good to bring Doug Trio for that. I don't remember what this particular set is supposed to outspeed. It's supposed to outspeed a Choice Scarf Night Lego, because Night Lego goes straight down to this. Next we have our Choice Specs Latias, which was very, very interesting. This thing pretty much one-shots the Vigavolt, and it can just do so much to his entire team, and he's really not going to be expecting it, is what I think. We have another very bulky Piloswine, set up rocks. Rocks are very important. He pretty much has no hazard removal aside from like Lando T. So getting rocks up, huge versus him. That's like a priority in this matchup. We dropped our Gastrodon after week 1 because we had too many ground types. We had 3 ground types. I didn't need that many ground types, so I decided to drop Gastrodon, get another Wish Passer, like this Togetic, and also just get like a Fairy type in general. That's like really, really nice besides Gardevoir. So Wish, Shadow Ball, Toxic Baton Pass, mainly just so I can switch into hits from Chandler better as well. This is as especially defensive as possible, and with the Eviolite, I'm just going to be soaking up hits left and right as long as they are special and not physical. And lastly but not leastly, we have our Life Orb Primeape. It hits extremely hard. Speed stat isn't bad, really not terrible. Probably should have ran Choice Scarf looking back on it, but Ice Punch would not have one-shot the Lando T. So we are just going to go straight into the match. As you see, he does not bring Mega Medicham, which is pretty huge. He brings Lando T, Frothorn, Chandelure, Slurpuff, Avalugg, and Vigavolt. So he actually does bring hazard removal. So that's something to watch out for. I decided to lead off with my Primeape to scout for a Scarf on Lando T, or if he wants to lead off with the Frothorn and set up hazards, I can just go straight into my Primeape. I can also scout for Scarf on some mons, and it's just a really good lead in my side, as he decides to lead off Chandelure, and he decides to go for Fire Blast, confirming that he is indeed Scarf. And here I make a pretty huge mistake, because I was not aware that Arena Trap does not work on Ghost types. So that was just really, really dumb on my part. Puts me at immediate disadvantage. Very, very bad for me. He actually crits me with Flash Cannon, which is really unfortunate. I'm not really quite sure what I was going for there, maybe an Icicle Crash or something. And I get a low roll on the Draco Meteor, so he's able to kill me with Bug Buzz. So we are 5 turns in. I am down 6-3. This game is literally one of the worst I have ever played, and I have to stay in here. And I decide to go for like reversal just so I can guaranteed kill this freaking Vigavolt, because at this point I'm so flustered, I have no idea what to do. I've pretty much lost, and I don't really have a way to beat him. He just decides to stay in with Chandelure, which is fine. I go for a Wish, because I can just go for a Shadow Ball afterwards, right? So I do that. I show off the Shadow Ball tech, and Slurpuff comes in, and I'm like, oh no, this thing is just gonna Belly Drum on me. So what I have to do, I have to hard into Celesteela, predicting his potential Belly Drum, which is terrifying. But with my spread, he can't really do anything to me. As you see, he is going to go for a Drain Punch right here, and I calced it, and Drain Punch really does not do that much to it. It's just 60, that's nothing. And we're going to be able to kill this Slurpuff, so at least it's not a 6-0, I guess. And this actually puts me in a very interesting situation, because I outspeed Avalugg, and I'm gonna be able to kill it with the Flamethrower. I go for a Protect here, as he decides to double and get some very unnecessary Stealth Rock damage on his Chandelure, which is really, really huge. And we're gonna be able to get a Leech Seed. So now we're actually like in a very, very good position to just kind of win right here, honestly. As he goes into Chandelier again, I predict him to want to switch out, and I go for a second Leech Seed. So now the Chandelier cannot switch in again on rocks, unless he's able to get rid of them using Avalanche. So I'm going to have to watch for that. That's extremely important. As I protect, and this Chandelier is going to go down to 1% after the Leech Seed. And this turn, I switch out into my Togetic to take this Fire Blast as he misses, which honestly doesn't matter because it's not doing that much anyway. And this Chandelier is going to go down to a Leech Seed. So now we're only down 4-3, and that's huge because now I can just go straight back into Celesteela. As I actually decide to Wish Pass back into my Celesteela to get it back to full, because I realize Celesteela, he has no answer to that at this point, which is huge. Like, he goes for a knockoff, really doesn't matter. And at this point, I'm like earlier on in the match, I was like, oh, I've totally lost this. It's already 6-3. It's 5 turns in. I have no way of winning this. But this is the reason why Celesteela is a tier 1 pick. It's games like these that really showcase its ability to be an insane threat. Avalugg comes in, trying to get rid of the rocks, but it can't because actually he has Aqua Berry on his Avalugg, and he could have gone for Rapid Spin and won right there. But he goes for a Curse. And that was one of the hardest chokes I've ever seen. He has to sack up the Vigavolt to rocks, and he's just... This was hilarious to watch. This was actually the funniest game to play ever. I really don't know what to say. He's trying to crit with Stone Edge. He can't do anything at this point because I just win with Heavy Slam. I'm not even gonna bother going for Leech Seed at this point because he can't do anything to me. I don't really know what to say going forward from this. I honestly played pretty awfully at the very beginning, and I don't think I deserved to win this game, but it was his misprep and misplays that really allowed me to win. So I'm not very happy about this game. I think it's hilarious the way I was able to win, but at the same time, it's just it's meh, honestly. So going forward from this, I know I am 2-0, but I want to feel like my wins are going to be more justified, and that's going to head straight into week 3, where I prepped like a maniac for this one particular match. I'm just going to cue that up right now. Alright, so here for our week 3 battle, we are facing Rain, and I have highlighted his team on the screen like I have with the previous 2 battles. Okay, so Rain took over a team that basically didn't show up right after drafting, so he's dealing with a team he hasn't drafted, but this is a very scary team, as you can see. Kieran Black, Klefki, Cobalion, Slowking, Excelgor, Rotom, Mega Sharpedo, Lycanroc Dusk, Lycanroc Day? Dusk, I think. Zapdos, Palossand, and Magmortar. This is a terrifying team to face against, especially with the team that I have. He has an insane Fairy Steel Dragon Core, as you see with his first 3 months. That's absolutely incredible. He's got Regenerated with Slowking. Slowking and Zapdos are 2 extremely bulky mons that are very hard to deal with. He's got Spikes and Toxic Spikes in Excelgor. He's got very good hazard removal, a good amount of rockers, and Magmortar is a really good way to it's just a really good fire type in general. So I was actually very scared for this matchup. I really wanted to keep my undefeated streak alive, so I really over prepped for this. I didn't for this particular match. I guess there's no real such thing as prepping too much for a match, but I was really careful. I didn't mock a lot, but I tried a lot of different things with this particular team, as you are about to see. Oh crap. Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly. You see, I even named all my mons mons to deal with Rain, because that is the name of the guy that I'm facing. So first of all, we have a Roserade, T-Spikes, HP Fire, Sludge Bomb, and Aromatherapy. So the reason I have HP Fire over a move like Giga Drain is because I don't really want the Cobalion to set up for free. Aromatherapy is good for mons that have rest, as I have a few mons. I believe I have 1 or 2 mons on this team that is trying to do that. Okay, that's fine. We have T-Spikes, because T-Spikes can really help wear down the Slowking even if he can switch pretty safely into his Zapdos. And I can maybe pressure his Mons and predict switches in order to prevent that from happening. Next we have our Latias Choice Scarf, because this can beat his potential Choice Scarf Kyurem Black, I believe. And he doesn't like really switch well into any of these Mons. HP Fire, once again, a lot of his Mons are weak to Fire, so this really helps kind of deal with that. We are EV to outspeed a max speed, timid, or maybe even jolly Kyurem Black. So that's something to keep in mind. We bring Celesteela for the third week in a row. Seeing how well it did last week, we are bringing defensive again, this time with Heavy Slam, Earthquake, Toxic, and Protect, instead of Leech Seed and Flamethrower. But those are the only two differences basically between this set. And this basically makes it so that when it Beast Boosts after getting a kill, it's going to Beast Boost its attack, as you can see on the screen right below. Then we have our Piloswine, a very basic defensive set, this time with Rest, so I can switch into Zapdos more easily. I can just take hits. I can get Toxic off. I don't really need an ice an ice type move on this really, because after I get the Toxic off, the Zapdos is really put on the timer, and that's really annoying to it. I can kind of stall out Roosts. Arcanine is going to be AV this time around. I guess just like a lot of his Mons have like Earth Power or like moves that threaten this thing, especially defensively. So I just want to be able to make make a more bulky sort of Arcanine set, and maybe late game sweep with Flame Charge, and then with its with the rest of its moves, it should be able to just take on the rest of these Mons. And lastly, we have our very basic Gyarados Mega, Dragon Dance, Crunch, Stone Edge, Waterfall. I don't really have to explain much about this. In regards to Mons, I'm a little bit scared of. I think this prep is very, very good for his team. And as you are going to see, hopefully it does do well. I'm going to quickly switch sides so I can reset, and you guys will get a sense of what this is. As you guys can see on the side, right here, he brought his Kyurem Black. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is not working. Kyurem Black, Slowking, Magmortar, Klefki, Zapdos, and Cobalion. So I kind of need to keep in mind for Klefki, because I can't really set up in front of that thing in case it does carry the T-Wave. And I think Klefki is actually a very likely start. If not that, then maybe Cobalion or Kyurem Black. And all three of those Mons don't really deal that well with Celesteela. So indeed, that's what I'm going to lead off with. I don't see him leading Zapdos. So we lead off with our Celesteela. I'm fine with him just going for a T-Wave, which he does. And we're able to get a very, very nice... Oh wait, no, we get powered first turn, which is fine, because we can just EQ to two-shot this thing. Actually, I predict him to switch out turn 2. So he's just going for Spikes, which is a little bit scary, because I don't believe I have Hazard Removal. I might have Defog on Latias, I forgot the set. He goes for a Magnet Rise, and I predict him to do that. So I go for the Heavy Slam to go ahead and take this thing out. And start Beast Boosting, even though we are paralyzed. So he goes into Magmortar, which is fine, because I can just switch out. My Latias can take care of this, and it can get a Defog off on the following turn to kind of get rid of any work that Klefki had put in. So that's fine. We're sitting in a fairly good turn, despite making a few mispredictions first turns. I'm not worried about Scald anymore, because I am parried, so I don't have to worry about getting burned by Scald. So he goes into Magmortar instantly, and I predict this. Oh wait, no, I don't. He actually just go. I just go for the Toxic, just because it hits all of his Mons pretty well, and I don't think he's gonna switch into Cobalion on this. So I go into Arcanine, and I do this because I think maybe he's gonna go for like HP like Grass maybe on my Piloswine, or like predict something. So that's fine. He is going to go out into his Zapdos. Luckily it's pressure and it's not static. I'm just going to scout for that. And he is going to land the Toxic. and I know he can just probably roost up on the following turn. So we've seen Toxic. He's fairly bulky. As you can see, he took that 252 Adamant Flare Blitz very well. So I do take this moment to go out and get my rocks up, I believe. Yes, I do get my rocks up. So Slowking is going to come out again as he goes for a Magic Coat. And that was very, very good prep on his part, because that makes my Pilot Swine toxic. Of course, I do have Rest, so it doesn't matter as much, but that was very, very smart on his, and he just goes for a second Magic Coat just to be safe. Now, it's on this turn that I predict him to want to immediately go into the Magmortar. He's going to take very good Rocks damage, and that puts him in range of the Earthquake, which will take him out. So Celesteela getting a second kill in this game, and we're in even better of a situation, I'd say. He goes back into Zapdos, probably wants to just defog these rocks away, and I can just go back out. I was going to say I wanted to go back into the Piloswine, but that's fine. I can go ahead and I can get some T-Spikes up. I think that's a very good idea. He actually just goes straight into Kyurem Black, not fearing like a Sludge Bomb or whatever, but actually I go for the Aromatherapy, so we're able to get rid of the Para on the Celesteela and two poisonings. So so our sorry, I'm like blanking out a little bit. It's very late over here. Piloswine is just going to get the toxic off on this Kyurem Black. It did really well. I mean, we're gonna have to, I guess, like just deal with rocks being off the field for the rest of the game, which is fine. So I predict him to want to go into his Cobalion, but instead he decides to go into a Slowking. So I have to pull a double out, and he goes to the Toxic, which is fine because I'm immune to that. And I decided to set up a I was going to say I decided to set up this T-Spike. I guess I would have played this game differently today. As he goes for an SD, and I can't let him to set up, so I just go straight for the Hidden Power. And on this turn, I probably should have gone into my Arcanine and gone off the Intimidate, which probably would have been better. But he goes for Iron Head, gets a crit, which doesn't matter, and we're able to come back in with Latias after and get the kill with an HP Fire. So now we're still up 4-3. Celesteela is still alive, which is very important. He goes for a Scald, and he does not get a burn, which is very nice, because now this guarantees Toxic on this Slowking. Finally putting this thing on timer despite having Regenerator, so I need to keep that in mind. Still doesn't burn me with Toxic, which is very nice, because I'm gonna protect, get some extra Toxic damage. He's just trying to bring me low to bring me in range of like a Thunderbolt from Zapdos, for example. So I take this turn to go out into Latias because I'm not really scared of being burned on this thing. No, he doesn't get a burn on this. So he's kind of forced to switch maybe a little bit here. But he actually doesn't. He decides to stay in, and he gets off a Slack Off. I think he can just like take any hit, but the Toxic damage is racking up, and he's kind of forced to switch at this point. So I predict the Zapdos switch, and I believe. No, I predict him to switch out, is the thing. So he goes into his Kyurem Black, and I'm going to go for maybe a Flame Charge here. Yeah, I do go for a Flame Charge, which is nice. That does very good damage, and with the Toxic damage, I can go for the Close Combat the following turn and take this thing out, which is really nice. Now it's just Zapdos and Slowking left, and they are very annoying, but once I get Toxics off, I can kind of play around them. Well, actually not very well. I can't really play around them very well because they can just kind of roost off, and I don't really have any healing. But on this turn, I predict him to want to switch out of the Zapdos, and I decide to go for the Wild Charge, predicting that, which is very nice because now I double out, and he can't really slack off because I just revenge him the following turn. But he opts to stay in and just go for the Slack Off. And I'm going to go for a Draco. That does a good amount of damage. That is a Slowking, and that thing did over half, which is really, really nice damage on the part of the Latias. So now he's going to have to switch out. I decided to go into Celesteela because I calced it, and I know that I can take this Discharge or Thunderbolt or whatever he wants to bring on that. he decides to stay in an extra turn, which is probably a bigger misplay on his part, because now like the toxic damage is really bad. It's doing 30% at this time, and I'm going to toxic predicting the switch, but he doesn't. He stays in and goes for a Scald, and I think he's just, at this point, he's just kind of given up a little bit, which I don't think he probably should have done. I think he still had potential to win that game, because those two mons, I just couldn't, like, not a single one of my mons really broke it. I suppose I could have maybe banked on going into Gyarados and setting up with D-Dance and hoping I didn't get scalded. I suppose that was an answer, but we are going to live the Thunderbolt. I calced it. I think I lived every possible version of that Thunderbolt. And we are going to get the Toxic on this Zapdos. And I'm just going to go into Latias afterward and clean up fairly easily versus this thing. So as you can see, we got a 4-0. I think this win was actually even more decisive than my week 1 win. Everything felt really organized. Every single one of my Mon's deaths, or like the two Mons that did die, they died for good reasons. Like this Cobalion was setting up, or I had to kind of sack something to cure in black. But yeah, this was a very good match. I think it's the first match in a while that really showcased, I guess, my ability as a player, and hopefully I can keep that going into the next week. Week 4, we are facing HumbleHaunter and the Surrey Sharks, and they are, I believe they are 2-1. Yeah, they are 2-1. They just lost to another 3-0 team, so they are definitely not to be messed with. Meanwhile, the team that we just faced, now they're 0-3, so we're going to have to really face a team that is really good in this league. Not to say anything bad against Rain. Rain is an excellent battler, but maybe they just, like, he's not necessarily that comfortable with this team quite yet, and therefore we're able to get a very solid 4-0 win against him. Okay, so for our Week 4 match, we are playing HumbleHaunter and the Surrey Sharks, who I have highlighted on the screen right here. So his team is interesting. So he just lost to the one other undefeated team at this point. So he is definitely not to be messed with. He is 2-1. Well, he was 2-1 at that point. And wait, actually, we are also an undefeated team, but he lost to another 3-0 team this last week. So he is an extremely good battler. I believe I played him once before, which I did win. Probably with the aid of some hacks, because I'm just guessing. But as you can see, he has an insanely good team. He has Latios, Hippowdon, Serena, Darmanitan, Electros, Golbat, Mega Audino, Manaphy, Excadrill, Exploud, and Miltank. So he's got the Sandcore going on with Hippowdon and Excadrill. He has a ton of like special offense with the Latios and a Manaphy. Darmanitan and Exploud, they both hit things extremely hard. He has hazard removal in Serena, and you can also he has screens in that as well. Electros can just really wear things down with his coverage. Golbat's a great defogger, very bulky. Uz is Mega Audino, also a Wish Passer. What you can see here is he has 3 normal types. He doesn't have anything that really wants to switch into like a Primeape. Oh, by the way, I do have Primeape, so that's gonna really come in handy this match. As you can see, he has nothing on his team, maybe a Golbat, but I do have appropriate coverage for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring up this team. This is the team that we're gonna bring for our Week 4. So once again, we're gonna bring a very defensive Celesteela. Another Leech Seed set. We got Leech Seed, Heavy Slam, Air Slash, and Toxic. I'm honestly, I don't really know what to say. Like, this thing's like really hard to switch into. Air Slash is just like pretty good neutral coverage for mons like Darmanitan. I didn't really want to bring Earthquake, because then we why did I not want to bring Earthquake? Oh, I suppose we get more neutral damage off on like mons like Latios, although we probably will be clicking a Heavy Slam in that situation nonetheless. So I don't know, whatever. Like this, I played this match a while back. I don't know why I brought certain things. But Toxic's very important on this. I think it really gets some of his bulkier mons like Mill Tank, puts that on a timer. Mega Audino also. Actually, Air Slash would probably be for Serena, because Serena can be the only like mon that can switch in on Elite Seed, for example. Extremely physically defensive. Rocky Helmet. This is mainly for the Excadrill set, because Celesteela just straight up counters that. Steel Flying, it's a great thing, and then I can just lease that thing. I can really wear it down very easily. It doesn't really have a good way to heal back up, and I'm not guessing he's going to want to bring rest. Secondly, we have another Gyarados Mega with a just regular Dragon Dance set. Not much to explain. Hits a lot of things hard. Let me see. So 234 speed. I'm going to be outspeeding Latios after one Dragon Dance. That makes sense. Next we have our Choice Scarf Primeape, because Primeape just does so much in this match. He doesn't have like a lot of really defensive checks, and in close combat is going to be doing a really good amount to mons like Mega Audino, even though they aren't necessarily resisted, but it is very bulky. 105 attack is nothing to laugh at. We have our Babiri Berry Gardevoir, so I can trace a Sand Rush, potentially from Excadrill, and I can just start sweeping things with this speed boost, which is why we are max special attack. We got T-Wave for some... I guess Latios that's very good for Latios. This kind of is a middle ground play, even though we do have Moonblast. This also does, it's a very good check to Latios, in my opinion. I suppose it doesn't really want to take moves like Shadow Ball, but at the same time, Latios is not going to ever really want to stay in on this either, because you don't really know what Gardevoir could be. And then we have our Yachi Berry Roserade. This is mainly for the Manaphy, because Manaphy can set up and sweep with Z Rain Downs very easily against my team. So what this is going to do is going to take an Ice Beam at +3 to hit back with the Leaf Storm extremely hard. I believe I EV'd it very specifically for this purpose. And then we got Hidden Power Fighting. What's that for? Sorry, I'm trying to remember what things were for. Hidden Power Fighting, I suppose it's just very good for mons like X-Cloud and Miltank. And of course Excadrill as well. You can never really count those out. T-Spikes is very good against his bulkier mons, just like toxicking things left and right. It's really, really nice, even though Excadrill could have Spin. And then Sludge Bomb just is more stab. And lastly, we have our Leftovers Latias. This is the only set, looking back, that I wish I had made different to counter Latios a bit more. Just because at this time I'm really relying on my Gardevoir to do that. I mean, I suppose Wish Pass, I really do value that on a team like this. I suppose I can Wish Pass a Wish into my fairly bulky Gyarados Mega, as you can see. I mean, like after the Intimidate and everything. So I could do that and could set up maybe like multiple phases of one sweep, so something like that. And then Surf, Surf just because it hits everything fairly hard, I suppose, on his team. It's a fairly like neutral, you know, like just it's just a move that hits things hard. I don't really know what to say about this team. I didn't put as much work as I did into prepping for the guy before HumbleHaunter, which was Rain. But at the same time, I think it is a very good team to take on HumbleHaunter. I do like my prep for the Manaphy, and I do like my prep for the Excadrill. Those two monsters in particular. And as you see, he does bring both of them, so that's very important. So we see no Darmanitan, which is really nice. We see no Powdon, meaning this is most likely going to be a Mold Breaker type of more like rapid spinning Excadrill instead of the sweeping one, which leads me to believe that some of his other mons are more offensive. Of course, X-Cloud, that's just going to hit super hard like in any scenario. So that's something to be watching out for. No Miltank, no Mega Audino, so not a lot of bulk. I'm kind of expecting Electros is going to be more of a pivot. That thing is going to be kind of annoying to deal with. Looking at this team right now, I didn't bring a lot for Electros because you don't really bring a lot. However, Mold Breaker Gyarados, Mega Gyarados after Mega Evolves, is going to be able to hit it with Earthquake. So that's something to keep in mind. So I'm just going to head straight into the battle. So I let off with Primeape because I want to scout for some potential Scarfers, and so I wanted to take any Scarf hit, so I just went straight as he actually tricks. So now we're Choice Scarf Gardevoir, and I don't mind that, quite honestly. So yeah, I think he was expecting maybe a different Mon. He's not very happy over there as he says, like that's fine, whatever. So he actually goes for the Acid Spray on my Gardevoir. So this is most likely going to be Assault Vest, Electros. There's not a lot that it can be. I decided to get up a layer of T-Spikes, because T-Spikes is very good for this team. And I go right back into Gardevoir, because I know it's a very good pivot for this. As he goes for a Shadow Ball, so very, very good predict on his end. And that definitely limits like the amount of switch-ins I really want to go for Gardevoir, because now he can very easily KO it from this range that I'm at, and it's going to be harder for me to Wish Pass into it, because Gardevoir is so frail. So he gets up his rocks. I go into Celery, which is my designated check for this. He decides to go for the Rapid Spin and get away his Shocking Spikes, as I predict him to switch out into the Electros and try to go for a Toxic. And this turn I decide to go for Leech Seed. I know he's probably going to switch. I want to get away these rocks because I don't like rocks. So he decides to go straight out into Exploud. I want to protect, I want to kind of scout, like, does he just go straight for the Boom Burst? Because if he does, that's really fine. Celesteela still does take those, and he's most likely going to be Choice. So, as he does go, actually he predicts my switch into Celesteela, goes back into Electros, very good play on his part. He's playing really phenomenally this early game. Goes for the Thunderbolt. That does not a lot because we are extremely bulky for a variant of Latias, and I just take this turn to get away these rocks. He goes for Dragon Pulse, reveals that, but that really doesn't do anything because we are very bulky, and I can just Wish up as he goes for an Acid Spray. And here I decided to go into Gardevoir, which was huge mistake on my part. I should have calced, known that he was max special attack on his Electros, just based on like previous hits that it's done to me, but I didn't. And this turn he decides to go for the Thunderbolt, and now I moved out of oops, oh my god, sorry, I'm gonna skip ahead real quick. Like, so now we're kind of without a Gardevoir, and that's like not okay, because Gardevoir hits so much on his team. You saw how much that move blast was doing to Excadrill, like, just by itself. So this was a huge misplay on my part. He does get a crit, but the crit does not really matter. But that's really unfortunate. I'm gonna U-turn, I believe, on the Serena. He's gonna reveal Rocky Helmet, which is fine. But now I'm on the backhand. I need to do something to really get myself back in this game. I go for T-Spikes, and he's not going to be faster than me because we are max speed. So this hidden power is just going to get rid of this Excadrill, which is very important, because now he can't get rid of these hazards. So I decided to go hard into Celesteela right here. And that Boom Burst is doing a very good chunk, but I can Leech Seed on this, which I'm not worried. We get this Serena poison, but actually I guess I just decided to get some damage off, which is important. He's just gonna go for a Synthesis, which is fine because I have Air Slash and I can just go for that right here. And now he realizes he can't really heal up on anything on my team with this particular spread. So he actually brought double Rapid Spin, as you can see. Both. So he's like very intent on keeping hazards off the field. But the Toxic Spikes don't disappear, and he doesn't realize that. So now he's maybe a little bit shaken, and he tries to predict me to switch out, but I don't. Because he died to the Rocky Helmet damage. Like, that was very important. And we are very slowly wearing this Electros down, which is very important. Because now I go back into and try to get Primeape in for free. and I know I can live any single hit, even a max special attack Thunderbolt, but he crits, and this is really, really bad for me. This puts me in a really, really bad situation for this. So I'm forced to just go straight ahead into the Mega Gyarados and kill this thing off. Looking back on it, I probably should have just gone into Roserade and killed this with Sludge Bomb, but being in with my Mega Gyarados means I can switch in to mons like this, I suppose, more easily, and I calc, and I'm able to kill this thing with Crunch, which is really nice. And he has 2 mons left. It's a 4. I'm winning 4-2 at this point. But Crunch is not doing enough, and he turns out to have Energy Ball. Looking back on it, I was gonna say I probably could have played this differently, but I can't, because I wouldn't have had the speed boost after I came back in. But I feel like letting this thing get hit by the Boom Burst from X-Cloud was a big mistake, because he didn't have any way to get rid of these hazards at this point, and I guess I could just kind of chip away at like I could have killed with the Sludge Bomb, and then I probably could have True Shot with the Sludge Bomb on, or just with an HP fighting on the X-Cloud. So that was another misplay. We are gonna go down. He has Poison, and I'm just gonna bring in my Roserade. I actually end up outspeeding, which is fine, since we don't burn our Yachi Berry. But now it comes down to, like, does he have the right, I suppose, does he have, like, the right coverage for each of my mons? You see that Dragon Pulse is doing so much, so I can't really do anything about that. I'm gonna go down. Celesteela comes in, and he actually turns out to have Thunderbolt, and this is actually gonna cost us the game. So yeah, very close 1-0 loss. Our first loss of the season. He crits with Dragon Pulse. I really don't think it mattered, but I mean, like, I didn't really calculate afterwards. Whatever. Yeah, it's I'm not really happy about the way I played this game. Both the Gardevoir sack and I suppose the way I played around X-Cloud were, like, the two things that I was not happy about. I am gonna say very good game to HumbleHaunter. He played absolutely excellent, especially the early turns of that game. He was really able to predict me really well, and kudos to that. But yeah, I could have prepped a little bit better. I could have played a little bit better here and there, and I think I can beat this team. But if I do end up facing him in playoffs, which I really hope to, because I want to get justice for this, I think I have the tools to beat this team. But because I think we're very evenly matched in terms of playing skill. I feel like the rapid spin thing, that also surprised me a little bit during the match. I thought the T-Specs would have just gone away, but it's like knowledge like that we don't necessarily know, that maybe I just kind of accidentally make mistakes. Like you saw week 2, the Arena Trap versus the Chandelure, that was also a mistake. So all in all, like, very good game to Haunter, and I don't really mind a loss at this point because we're still 3-1. And we can come in clutch week 5. Alright, so our week 5 game is against Charlie and the Hertfordshire Hitmonlees. As you see, I've highlighted his team on the screen. He's in a very interesting situation right now in the season. He's 2-2 while we are 3-1. His first 2 weeks, his first week he got absolutely 6-0'd. Second week he got 3-0'd. And third week he came back with 6-0 of his own, and then this last week, I think he won with another 4-0 or 3-0 win. So he's had very, very interesting games so far, and at this moment, he's on a 2-2 win streak. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, because he has an extremely scary team. He drafted a very, very good team. As you can see, Tapu Fini, Buzzwole, Donphan, Kyurem, Ambipom, Electrode, Mega Venusaur, Stakataka, Swellow, Starmie, and Houndoom. Every single mon it does something on this team. Even Ambipom, I feel like, that does something on this team, and it's bulky and it's super offensive, and it really does everything. Maybe a little bit sparser on the special offense side, but it's just really hard to gonna be able to like break through things like Feeny, and we need to really find a way to take care of Stack Attacker, because Stack Attacker is a huge problem. Buzzwole also, that just is really good against my team in particular. But I'm not going to talk too much longer. I'm going to go ahead show you my team for this. First of all, we have Sugarberry Arcanine. This is mainly probably just to switch better into Buzzwole. As you can see, we are bringing a special Arcanine because Flare Blitz is not really going to take him out from that range. And we can burn him, or we can just straight up attack him and knock him out with a Flamethrower. Hidden Power Electric is just to take care of the incoming Feeny. And yeah, this is mainly for the Buzzwole, because Buzzwole is a huge problem for this team. Next we have our Celesteela. This was a meme set. Oh my god, I love this. Oh my god, okay. So after Autotomize, we're going to outspeed every single mon on this team. And then I might just be able to sweep with this, because his team does not like to deal with this. If I get certain mons low, like Feeny, I can get mons like Donphan low. And I don't remember exactly what this set is supposed to survive, because there are some very interesting EVs. But I know after one Autotomize, we're going to outspeed everything on his team. Snowball's just so it can switch into Kyurem, and then it's going to get the +1 attack boost, and then it can just proceed to help with the sweep, because there's no other way I can get an attack raise. Oh my god, this was so fire. Electrium Z Latias basically just baits in the Feeny. It can Calm Mind, and it can take hits even if the Feeny is Scarfed, and it can heal up as needed, and then it can just proceed to sweep, or at least to take out the Feeny, because Electrium Z Thunderbolt is just going to blow that thing back. Then we have Komala. I was thinking at this point of definitely dropping Komala, because I have another Wish Passer in the form of Togetic, and I have also many different ways of hazard removal, so I don't need Komala as much. But this time around, Wish, Protect, U-Turn, and Earthquake instead of Rapid Spin. I don't feel like I need hazard removal as much on this team, especially since I feel like I'm going to lead off with the Doug trio, which is Sash, as you will soon see. Very defensive Rose Raid, Toxic Spikes and Spikes hazard stacking with Synthesis and Sludge Bomb. This really is just a really great switch into Feeny as well. I don't really know what else to say. Last we have our Doug trio, which is Sasharina Trap, Aerial Ace for the Buzzwole, Stealth Rock, and just some moves. So I didn't really spend a lot of time prepping for this particular matchup. I'm going to be very honest, I did not spend a lot of time on this team. And I didn't really run some calcs that I probably should have. So that would have, maybe looking at it differently, I would have gone in. But I'm not gonna warn you guys about anything else. I just want you guys to see the match. So you can see he brings Electrode, Mega Venusaur, Feeny, Stakataka, Donphan, and Buzzwole. Very physically defensive team, leading me to believe that either Mega Venusaur or Tapu Fini is going to be extremely specially defensive. And I'm banking on the Tapu Fini, as that will be a better check for mons like my Latias. So I decided to lead off the game with my Doug trio and just trap something. Now, I feel like he couldn't switch out. Buzzwole is a huge threat to his team, so this turn 1 was not the smartest. I probably should have just gone for some Aerial Ace, gotten some damage out, because I can't really switch in. I do have Arcanine, and these first few turns are very regrettable, because you are going to see Leash Life brings me down to my Sash, and I go for an Aerial Ace on the following turn, and that literally just is half. That's 4 times effective. That does nothing. And our Doug trio is gone, and I just realized like how much that means for my team, because I can't trap mons like Electrode anymore. So he goes into Feeny, setting up the Misty Church, and I go for a Psychic that does nothing, and I know by this damage that this thing is going to be Assault Vest, so that's a little bit problematic for my team, but by no means am I out of the game whatsoever. I think I decided to just go for a Spike here. Yeah, I do just go for a Spike. And maybe, since I'm pretty defensive for a Rose Raid, I could probably stay in and see what it goes for. But he goes for the knock, gets rid of my Snowball, which really didn't matter because Kirim doesn't even come. I'm going to go for an Acrobatics, and that's going to do so much to this Mega Venusaur. That is 56%, that's insane. And you can't live the next one. So I think he's going to switch out. So I decide to double on my own. And as he does, he goes straight into his Donphan. Not really quite sure what I was really expecting there, but now I feel like I can wish past to something. He goes for the Rapid Spin to get rid of my Dougies, like literally all Dugtrio did in this game. So I'm just going to U-turn out my Arcanine because I know I can take any hit. And I think he decides to go hard Feeny here. Yeah. So going for the Willow, the miss does not matter whatsoever. And I just go into Rose Raid because I feel like I can just take any hit. He makes a very, very good prediction. Goes for the Ice Beam. At this point in the match, I hadn't been running like any calcs, so I wasn't quite sure what this is. So as it goes for the double Ice Beam, I'm like, okay, this might be choiced. And it is not choiced, and it outspeeds me, and my Arcanine is basically gone, which really does suck. As my Rose Raid is going to outspeed this on the following turn. But that doesn't matter. I'm gonna Synthesis right back up because I can eat, and I know I outspeed because I'm pretty sure I am max speed. I'm gonna get another Spike up. As he goes for Leech Seed, predicting me to switch out, which I do not. So I think we definitely still do have a lot of potential to win this game, especially as you look at the kind of time that Celesteela does have after setting up, because I can get an Autotomize up and then I can start just Beast Boosting all over his team, and that can potentially win me the game. So he's just attacking me with Earthquakes, judging my damage, which really doesn't matter. I'm gonna Synthesis one more time to get me back up pretty much to full, as he is going to actually pull a double to get rid of the T-Spike, which doesn't matter, but now, with the Donphan in, I can go for an Acrobatics. That does not a lot, but it shows that he is pretty much fully physically defensive. And I decide to Autotomize on this following turn, as he goes for a Rapid Spin to get rid of these dumb spikes that I put up. They're not dumb, they're very smart. I'm very glad that they brought this. Goes for a Fire Fang, so he reveals that, but it's not even going to 2-hit KO me at this range. And now I can just start sweeping through his team. He doesn't burn me, and after this I'm going to be able to get the attack raise. So it's looking like Celesteela coming through the clutch, except for one thing, and that is that I made a big mistake in speed creeping. I thought Electrode was max speed 427, when in reality is 438, and I could, oh my god, that was the biggest mistake of the entire game, and now I'm just like in a really bad position, and I pretty much just lose. But my only hope at this point is for the Calm Mind Latias to come in and just save me. So he goes for a Leech Life. I just decide to stay in, but he just absolutely wrecks through this Komala, showing that he is in fact a choice band version. So I decided to Calm Mind, but he has no reason to switch out at this point and let me just do anything. So I Calm Mind once, as he goes for the Trick Room, and I know I can live any one hit from him, so I just decide to unleash the Z move here, but he brings Sub, so very, very good play on his part. And he actually has his own Z move, so never mind, I do not live this at all. And Stakataka just sweeps the rest of my team. and we are handed a huge 4-0 loss. This puts us at 3-2 on the season, and I believe +5 or around there. So I am not happy at all with the way I prepped. I'm not happy at all with the way I played, and now going into week 6, I'm a little bit worried about my potential playoff chances. So I feel like I really do need a big win this next week in order to get myself back in the game, because I have not faced the majority of like the harder, like the better players in this league. Not to say any of the people I've faced before are bad, it's just that they have better records at this time, and they have terrifying teams, and I'm gonna have to make something happen if I really want to make playoffs, because 3-2, it's not good enough. A lot of teams are 3-2 right now. A lot of teams are better than that too. So I basically just really need to do well this week afterwards. This 4-0 loss was basically a bit of a slap in the face, and now I need to get some creativity flowing. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Maestro, bringing you our week 6 now of the APL. We're just gonna be facing Liam. As you saw right before this, we lost 4-0 against Charlie and the Hertfordshire Hitmonlees, so we're really trying to get back in this league, because now we are 3-2 and playoffs is not looking nearly as guaranteed. So a win this week is going to be extremely important for me. So I'm just going to show you, so Liam's team, 2 things. I played against Liam before, and that was one of the first videos uploaded on this channel, and I lost in a very, very close 1-0 match, because he brought Choice Scarf, Sludge Wave, Landorus T versus my Tapu Bulu, counter it, and I didn't click Protect. Anyway, sorry, I'm not going to get into all of that. But basically, I'm looking for revenge. Liam is 2-3 in this league at this moment, so getting a win right here, it would just really, really be nice for me. Even though he also really wants to win at this point, because it would really put him in a much better position. Second thing, as you can see, Facecam is now working for me. I figured that out, and I was just like, you know what, I might as well just make it a part of this channel, because like why not, I guess. Anyway, actually you can see I made a few very recent trades and like free agents, but at the moment of this battle it was Celesteela, Dugtrio, Arcanine, Gardevoir, Togetic, Primeape instead of Rotom. I negotiated a trade with Rain today, actually. Mega Gyarados, Latias, Piloswine, Roserade, Piloswine, and lastly we had Durant. We actually just free agented this past, the week that I played this battle for Durant, because Durant, it really works really well against Liam's team, and I thought it would be really nice to make a free agent trade, especially after a battle as bad as the last one had gone. And I didn't really need Komalas, so I dropped Komala for Durant. And Liam's team, if you've been looking at it, it's extremely bulky, as you can see. Jellicent, Umbreon, Cresselia, and Mega Aggron, all 4 of those are extremely bulky and extremely hard to take down. So breaking that, it's going to be a bit of a problem, but I will show you what I'm going to bring. He also has Tapu Koko. That's just like extremely terrifying in general. Armaldo, which is like, sure, he tried to bring like a rain team with Armaldo, and that didn't really work. That was like week 3. But Armaldo, it's just like, it's there for rock, it's there for spin, not much else. I don't really think it's gonna come. If it does, I'm not really scared of it. It's not that much of a threat. Entei, bit scarier for sure. Just a fairly powerful fire type. I'm really not gonna say too much about it. Crobat and Mienshao, both fast, hit hard, and Superior is also scary as a Z-Mon. So, I'm really not going to say too much about this matchup, because I made very specific sets for this match. I prepped a lot. So, Gyarados Mega, not really a specific. I don't remember what I'm trying to outspeed after one Dragon Dance. I feel like there's something on his team that I probably EV this to outspeed, but looking at it, I'm just like, what? Why? I guess, like, also before Mega Evolving, it comes in well on a lot of his mons, including mons like Entei and Mega Aggron as well, because I'm going to be able to get Intimidates off and whatnot. Next, I guess I forgot to, like, nickname all of these guys. I, like, nicknamed only one of them. I took a long time making this team. I guess I just forgot to nickname everyone. Anyway, we have our Choice Scarf Durant. I really hesitated. I really wanted to bring Choice Band, because that would hit a lot harder, but I feel like Choice Scarf was really important because I mocked a few times, and Tapu Koko just destroyed this, so I kind of need Choice Scarf. I really don't want to, I suppose, deal with, like, the accuracies and whatnot, so I'm not going to bring Home Claws. I'm not going to bring Hustle. I decided to bring Swarm instead. Even though it's not going to hit nearly as hard as Durant can, it's still going to be doing a good amount, considering, like, the weaknesses of each mon that he has. Next we have our Piloswine. Very basic, Toxic, Stealth Rock, Icicle, Crash, Earthquake. Don't really need priority this week. Just here the tank hits, especially physical ones. I suppose switch in on Entei better, because Entei is extremely scary on his team. This Gardevoir set, I love this so much. I am so proud of myself for thinking of something like this. Taunt, Witch, Thunderbolt, and Moonblast. So this is going to outspeed many different sets that Cresselia can run, and it can taunt it, prevent it from Calm Minding up, prevent it from Toxicking. It can just come in on Cresselia whenever and just do its thing, and I can just wish up to other mons, I can heal them back up, and Cresselia does not hit anything on this team, like, at all. Like, even Rose Raid, I don't think Psychic is good. It's not really going to be doing that much. I suppose Thunderbolts, it's a fairly good neutral move, because I don't remember what I'm not going to be hitting with the combination of Moonblast and Focus Blast, but Thunderbolt, it's also going to hit Mega Aggron, like, pretty well, because Mega Aggron is a pretty good switch into this, and then Moonblast just hits everything, because Fairy-type moves are pretty broken. We have our Choice Scarf Latias to trick onto one of his bulkier mons, and trick. I suppose, like, the combination of Trick and Taunt, that's my ways to break down, like, bulkier mons, so that's very important. And I just got Recover and then Stab. Not really much to explain. Oh, wait, what am I outspeeding? 340 speed? I honestly have no idea. Let me just test something out. 339. What's the... Oh, Mean Xiao. Makes sense. Makes sense. So, I outspeed Choice Scarf Mean Xiao leading off. I can just take that out with Psychic if it decides to try that. And last but not least, we have our T-Spike stacking, Spike stacking, Leech Seed, Protect, Rose Raid. Just, because he can predict things running Toxic, but running Toxic Spikes is, like, a little bit harder for him. And I don't believe he has like a Toxic Spike Absorber on his team, which is very important. That's gonna be very big in, like, in bringing him down. So that's our team. We're just gonna go ahead to this match. As you can see, he brings no Umbreon, which I'm very, very glad he didn't bring an Umbreon, because Umbreon is so annoying to deal with. Brings Coco, brings Entei. Does bring the combination of Crest and Jellicent, which isn't too fun, and I go into this match realizing that I haven't really prepped for Jellicent as much as I could. Megatron, which I'm actually a little bit surprised he brought, because it doesn't have the best matchup against my team, especially with mons like Arcanine, and then Superior, which is always a huge threat to this team. So, he leads off with Superior, which I'm really not surprised, because Superior has just an overall good team matchup, and I predicted that, so I predicted that, so I decided to take this chance to set up a layer of T-Spike. We go into our Gyarados as he just decides to Mega Evolve. He goes for Earthquake. I don't really know what he was predicting there, but whatever it was, I just decided to scout for, like, any potential Thunder-type move. So he reveals the Roar, so he has Roar, Earthquake, as I see. He goes for Heavy Slam, so that's 3 moves, and at this point I'm just like, yeah, he's not gonna have a move like Thunder Punch. So I just decided to get some damage off, and he ends up switching right into his Tapu Koko. I'm pretty sure that crit does not matter because of how much invested I was, but that's just a huge threat out of the way. I just decide to reveal the taunt because I can just switch in on this Crest whenever with my Gardevoir, as he just decides to take this chance to get out into Mega Aggron. So I'm gonna probably, like, looking at it right now, I think I'm just gonna let Mega Gyarados stay in its regular form and use that to kind of take care of the Mega Aggron at this time. So I decide I go out into my Choice Scarf Durant, and he goes for a Glare, so that's really big, because that really puts this particular set out of commission. Although, with Tapu Koko out of the way, I suppose it doesn't do nearly as much, because Jellicent walls it, Mega Aggron walls it. So we just spent these few turns just kind of switching around a little bit. I decide I'm gonna see if he has Psychic or not. He decides to go for the Psycho Shift here, which is fine, because that really does not affect me whatsoever. And I just want to get up the rest of my T-Spikes so that I can put the Jellicent on a timer, because it does not appear he has Hazard Removal on this team, which is really important. Unless the Superior has Defog, but we will see about that. I decide to Leech Seed as he goes into this Aggron, which is great, because now I can start chipping away at this thing. Aggron does not have a way of kind of just getting itself back up in terms of HP, so just kind of chipping away at this thing bit by bit is going to be extremely important. I'm still like a little bit like, what is that last move? He just like doubling and doubling. He makes a good play and predicts my Durant. And I go for a Superpower, and that does a good amount of damage, as you can see right there. So it's not going to two-shot because of the attack drop, so I'm just going to take this turn to double out onto Latias, which does not take this Sacred Fire as well as I would like to. Turns out the Entei's Choice banned. Oh wait, no, it's Life Orb, what am I talking about? And he just decides to go for an Extreme Speed, so that brings my Latias extremely low. Not in the best position, although I still feel like I can trick my Choice Scarf onto Lady Jellicent or Cresselia later on, and that would really help. Okay, I'm gonna pause right here. Maybe I feel like it would have made a big difference in this match if he had remembered to bring Contrary, but he didn't. He crit me with Leaf Storm, which does so much. This is quad resisted, and that did 40%. It mattered because I was already paralyzed, and if he had a coverage move, he could have used that to take me out afterwards. And Leaf Storm probably, like, even Leaf Storm probably just took me out after that anyway. So, the crit mattered, but so did his misprep. I don't really know what to say about this. Like, I'm really sorry for Liam and his misprep. That was just really unfortunate on his side, and I kind of hate to potentially win through that. But that really makes my job a lot easier, because now the thing, it doesn't really it just doesn't really sweep through my team anymore. So I don't know really why he decides to double into Cresselia. Maybe he was predicting like what was he predicting? I have no idea what he was predicting. He can just do whatever, honestly. I don't know. And yeah, he reveals the counter here. Very big, because now I have to play a little bit more carefully around this Mega Aggron, because it's got both Roar and Counter, so I need to figure out when I want to attack it or not, because he can very easily knock out this Mega Gyarados. So here, I just decided to double out, because I don't really want to lose Amon. I'm in a very good position for 6-0 at this point, and I think I'm just going to go for that. So, he decides to go for Earthquake, and at this point I'm just like, I don't really have a switch into this, so I'm just going to go ahead, and I'm going to sack the Durant, because I don't really need it. It was already paralyzed. Rip 6-0, but like at the same time, I suppose like this particular chip on the Aggron, it really makes my job easier. Now that my Gyarados isn't at +1, I can go ahead and I can start just like straight up attacking this thing. He goes for Heavy Slam for whatever reason. It doesn't really matter at this point. Like, this game is pretty much over. So yeah, we are eventually, as you are going to see, going to win this match 3-0. Mega Gyarados really doing well. Oh wait, no, not 3-0, 5-0. I'm so sorry. It's like, it's 11:17 at night right now. I'm like really out of it. Just like, don't worry about all my mistakes, cause I've been making a lot. But yeah, we are going to win this match 5-0. Good game to Liam. If that's not revenge, I don't know what it is. I think I don't really know how I could have played this better. I suppose like here and there, maybe playing with the Durant, scouting for the glare. I could have played that a little bit better. And I could have figured out about the fact that he wasn't contrary earlier by coming in with Gardevoir and tracing the contrary. That would have been interesting if I brought something like that. Yeah, good game to Liam again. So now we are 4-2 plus 10, I believe, so somewhere around that. And next week we're gonna face an extremely difficult opponent. He's already uploaded his side. I think it's to YouTube. I will include that in the link in the description when you guys when I upload this video. Oh yeah, sorry. Like last thing, when I was prepping for this team, he had made a free agent that was not shown in the doc, so I ended up prepping for a Celebi instead of prepping for a Superior. So that was important. I didn't realize he had Superior, and that just made me a little bit paranoid when I got into the battle. But I'm like, I think it was a good game. Like, winning this game 5-0, it was very, very big at this point in the season, and I think that if it comes down to differential, games like this and like week 1, like basically all my wins up until this point, they're gonna really come in handy because they've been so big. I've been working hard on preserving differential and whatnot. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. See you guys at week 7. Alright guys, what's up? It's Maestro back for our week 7 matchup against Ben and the Edmonton Aegislash. Now this is a matchup that I've been really looking forward to really recently because Ben is an extremely good player. He's very rarely lost in draft league format in the league I've been in with him. Right now he is 5-1, and we are 4-2 on the season. So when right here, it would really put us in a really good spot. 4-3 isn't the best place to be in, especially with 4 weeks after that left in the season, and I certainly have not. I suppose like some of the harder matchups have not come yet. So I've highlighted Ben's team on the screen. I think you guys should be able to see it. He actually made 3 huge free agent trades in this past week that he's going to use for the first time against me. He used to have Jirachi instead of Heatran. He used to have Mega Charizard Y instead of Mega Latios. And he used to have Hydreigon instead of Greninja. So I think the changes that he made to his team make it a lot scarier than it was before. First of all, it makes it a lot less weak to rocks. That was one of the main ways to exploit him in the matches beforehand. And now that Mega Charizard Y is gone, and you have, I suppose like Mega Latios in this place, it kind of works as a defogger. Not as well, but at least you don't have that double quad weakness to rocks, coupled with Masquerain. So he has a team this week. We are facing Heatran, Gliscor, Tangrowth, Tentacruel, Regirock, Passimian, Mega Latios, Mimikyu, Greninja, Xurkitree, and Masquerain. Extremely offensive team. He likes, it's pretty much hyper offense. Actually, no, I wouldn't say that. But a lot of his mons they can hit extremely hard, even if they aren't necessarily that fast. Mega Latios especially, he just drafted that out of nowhere, and it is a terrifying mon to play against, trust me. Its stats are insane. I feel like it should be banned in Draft League, to be quite honest. So without further ado, I'm just going to show you my team for this. So I brought this particular set because I wanted my Piloswine to be as bulky as possible in every direction, to maybe deal with a mixed Mega Latios for this reason, because Ice Shard is going to probably be doing a good amount. I mean, 100 base attack, and we got 4 investments. Like, that's fine. It just switches in on a lot of pretty good mons. I decided to bring Rest Sleep Talk. No real rocks on this because I don't feel like I need as much. But I just decided to bring Rest Sleep Talk because in case he's Z Hypnosis on his circuitry, and this is my primary switch into that, I can just Sleep Talk and I can still click Earthquake. I don't have to deal with sleep turns, him setting up tail glows, and if I land Earthquake, then that's a circuitry that's just gone. That would be amazing. Next we have our Choice Scarf Gardevoir. Now, I just decided to make this as fast as possible to outspeed other forms of Scarf. For example, Scarf Heatran, that could be a very potential problem for this team. It's gonna... I suppose if he does bring Heatran, which I think he really will bring Heatran, just for this mon and for a few other mons on my team, like Celesteela, that don't necessarily deal with that as well. He could bring Choice Scarf on that. Also, if he doesn't think I'm going to bring Choice Scarf Dugtrio, you guys will see that in a bit. But basically, bringing Choice Scarf Gardevoir without a trick means that I'm going to have to deal with some pretty tricky 50-50s throughout the game. I'm going to have to predict his mons to switch in, and that's going to be a bit of a problem. But hopefully, I've been good at predicting 50-50s before. Just watch my Week 3 game. So, I think I can do well this game with this Choice Scarf Gardevoir. Next we have our Gyarados Mega. Very basic. I've basically just been bringing this type of Gyarados Mega this entire season. I've definitely wanted to experiment a bit more, and I think I will. Maybe when the season draws to close, and if I'm guaranteed for a playoff spot, then maybe I'll have more freedom to experiment with different kind of Gyarados Megas going into playoffs. But as you can see here, we bring a very specially offensive Gyarados Mega. I suppose it switches in on Heatran better. Not really much else to say. Dragon Dance, it really hits his team extremely hard. He's gonna have to have ways to deal with that. I don't really know how he will, but he's definitely gonna have ways. Dugtrio Choice Scarf traps a speed boosting circuitry, traps a Choice Scarf Heatran. Enough said. That said, it doesn't really deal with Tangrowth well. Tangrowth is one of the bigger weaknesses to this team, although I do have Arcanine for that, and that can just blow right through it after you see what set I'm bringing on that. But Dugtrio, it's just going to trap things, so unless he brings Shed Shell on something, which I will find out, I can do really well with this. Also, Memento allows me to set up with Dragon Dance Gyarados, so I think having Memento on the set is also very good. Next we have our Arcanine. We're bringing a very offensive Life Orb, Intimidate Arcanine, because this can do a lot to his team. I can Morning Sun off the Life Orb damage, recoil damage for Flare Blitz. I brought Close... Why did I bring Close Combat? I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, it hits the Heatran very well, because that's one way to deal with it. I believe Hidden Power Ground. I don't know if this Arcanine gets Bulldoze. I'm just gonna check right now. It does get Bulldoze. Okay, maybe I should have brought Bulldoze instead of Close Combat to not deal with the defense drops, but it's fine. Also, Extreme Speed is going to be doing a lot, especially to mons that normally outspeed me. Greninja's not going to want to take it well. And, yeah, like, a lot of his mons that outspeed me, they don't necessarily take hits well. So if I get them to a relative percentage, I might just be able to sweep with Extreme Speed. You never know. Last but not least, we have our Habanberry Latias. As you can see by this team that I made, I'm extremely scared of Mega Latios, mainly because after seeing how regular Latios was able to deal with my team so efficiently, I just got scared like how well Mega Latios is going to do that job, maybe even better. So bringing this Latias set, Surf hits pretty much all of his mons for neutral or super effective damage, barring the Tangrowth, but he may not realize that. I suppose Latias pretty much invites the Heatran in, especially once he sees I'm Defog Roost. But I can take a hit from a Mega Latios and I can just hit it back with Dragon Pulse. That's all I gotta say. About the speed tier, this outspeeds Mimikyu, which I really don't know why would I do that. It's not like I'm gonna want to stay in on Mimikyu with this anyway, but like, I suppose like if Mimikyu's at a low percent, that makes a little more sense. I don't know. That's just how I was thinking back then. I don't remember what my thought process really was when I was building it. As you see, I remember a good bit, but we have the matchup right in front of me right now. We see he brought all 3 of his new mons, which is Heatran, Greninja, and Mega Latios. He brings Tangrowth, Gliscor, and Xurkitree beside that. So my Doug trio has a pretty good matchup in this. I'm looking at the Tangrowth, I realize that might be a bit of an issue, but at the same time, it really depends on the set he decides to bring. I'm not gonna really say too much more. I think Gardevoir is a very, very good lead for this situation, because he might just want to go out into Mega Latios and decimate something right off the bat. He might want to go out into Greninja, maybe Spike Stack me. He might want to go out into Gliscor and try to activate that Toxic Orb. And if he brings out Heatran and wants to stay in, I can just take him out with an HP Ground. So that's what I'm gonna do with my Gardevoir. So I lead off with my Gardevoir as he decides to lead off Tangrowth, which is very fair on his side. I suppose because Arcanine wasn't exactly the most likely switch. So I decided to go into this thing because I'm going to try to predict the knockoff, but he actually goes for a Stun Spore. So right off the bat, that just kind of eliminates my chance to go and Dragon Dance Sweep with this thing. Now, I went for Earthquake on turn 2, mainly to catch the Xurkitree switching in, but he decides to go into Gliscor, and this Ice Fang is going to matter. As you will see, he brings a Thunder Fang on his Gliscor, which really sucks. I decided to Mega Evolve. I don't really know why, but maybe he predicts me Mega Evolving, but he just decides to go for the U-turn. Maybe he predicts me to want to switch out, but he's just able to take out my Mega Gyarados, which I suppose in hindsight, that's actually better for my team, because he doesn't get the momentum, and I'm able to get the Gardevoir out again. So I'm going to reveal my Scarf, trying to predict the Heatran switching in, but I get that 50-50 wrong. He's able to U-turn out of there. Now he knows I'm Scarf, and now he can just go straight into Latios. I go into Piloswine here, because I know I can take any hit from this. He goes for Earthquake, gets crit, which kind of sucks. I'm just going to get some damage off with Ice Shard on this following turn, and you see he's going to go for a Draco Meteor. He's going to get his second crit. I talk about this a little bit, mainly because if he hadn't gotten one of those crits, my Piloswine would still be alive. And that will matter a good chunk late game, as you guys will see. But that just really sucked. Between the Ice Fang miss and this, it's just not a good start to this game. I'm like really on a backhand. I'm gonna have to make some very wild plays in order to win this game. I go back into the Gardevoir. I'm really getting chipped at this point. I do have Defog, and I probably should have, looking back on it, I probably should have just gone into my Latias and just defogged away and then gotten in my Gardevoir, because I have a Bond Berry. He's already at -2. It's not like he can do anything. So he goes for the Sleep Powder on my Gardevoir, as I decide to go for a double Signal Beam. I actually predicted the Tangrowth switching in, so I'm very glad about that. But if I was modest instead of being timid, then that would make a difference. But here's the thing. If I was modest and his Xurkitree was Scarf, I mean, wait, no, not Xurkitree, his, what am I talking about? His Heatran was Scarf. I'm just going to pause a bit because I need to talk about some plays. Okay, so if I was Modest and his Heat Ran was Scarf and Timid, then that would outspeed me and would be able to kill me. So I kind of needed to be Modest. I didn't really do a lot of calcs on the Tangrowth. I probably should in hindsight. But as you can see, that's gonna allow his Xerxes to get in and set up with Thunderbolt. I believe Dazzling Gleam was a roll to kill me, and he unfortunately gets that roll. So we're not able to keep rocks off the field, but the good news is we get in our Doug Trio and we're able to kill this Xerxes. Worst part is he knows we're Scarf, and now he's able to get in his Latios Mega once again. So I go into his Arcanine basically to stack it. Here's where getting the extra Ice Shard would have really been nice, because I could have killed this thing right here with extreme speed. As you are going to see, it does 39%, so that plus Ice Shard would 100% have killed. But unfortunately, we're just not going to get that right. This time, I go back to Gardevoir, because I'm just like screw it at this point. At least I'm able to get off the Greninja. I don't think he's going to want to hard switch into Heatran, but he just sacks his Greninja, which is fine. He goes back into Tangrowth, which is like kind of a strange decision, especially when he has Heatran right there. But I suppose, looking back on it, he doesn't want my Doug Trio to trap in, he wants to preserve differential. So yeah, at this point, even Rock Slide doesn't kill at this point. We do miss, so it's not like that was a factor in the end game. But this is our second 4-0 loss of the season, and I want to let you guys know how scary that is for me. I'm thinking if I'm losing to, I suppose, like top 6 players very easily, like this badly, then that's going to be a big factor in playoffs. However, being on the losing end means I probably have a better chance to do well in playoffs, because I'll have a counter team, and they won't know like what other Heat. I can predict their Heat, like their play style, stuff like that. Yeah, so that's our Week 7 game. Like, GG to bend over. I mean, even without the hacks, I feel like he has an incredible team. He plays incredibly well. So we're just gonna have to go into our Week 8, hoping to maybe increase our win potential and our differential, and let's just like keep on striving for playoffs, because at this point we're still like 5th or 4th in the league. Alright, so I'm back here with my Week 8 matchup now. We are facing CalfinChoo and the Mississippi Missing No. He doesn't like... Okay, I have to tell you guys a bit of history, because CalfinChoo is my buddy at school. So we like know each other in person, like so like this is honestly gonna be a meme match. As you see by his team, he didn't really take this draft very seriously. He's still like 3 and 4 at this point. Like, he's doing pretty well. He won his first 3 games, proceeded to lose 4 in a row, and now I'm facing him. We have an insanely good team matchup, not gonna lie. And we both agreed to bring as many memes as we possibly could this week. So, as you can see, he has a team of Tapu Bulu, Milotic, Porygon 2, Dhelmise, Lanoon, Mawile, Mega Diancie, Garchomp, Magneton, Skuntak, and Marowak Alola. I made Mawile one of his Zmons. I feel like he would have wanted that. Don't really know why I made Porygon 2 is all Zmon. That was really dumb, because it's going to be bringing Alveolite like every single time anyway. Yeah, he actually let me choose his Zmons for him. That's like how little he cares about this league. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to show you my sets for this week, because it was really fun. I decided to bring all 6 choice bands. It was fun. I'm not going to go into too much detail, because it's pretty much the same for everyone. Doug Trio with Earthquake, Sludge Bomb for the Bulu. That 2 shots with this investment, Reversal, and Memento. I can trap the Porygon 2 if I'm low, and I can just go Reversal. That's important. Also Memento, I can just kind of let some other mons come in for free, live hits, and hit back extremely hard. Arcanine, very offensive late last week. We have Extreme Speed, Flare Blitz, Iron Head for the Mega Diancie, and Crunch. Then we have our Piloswine, Earthquake, Ice Shard, Icicle Crash, Super Power. Celesteela, I'm going to explain a little bit more about this, because this is a speed boosting, beast boosting Celesteela right here. So if he comes in with the Magneton wanting to Magnet Pull trap me,
Although, actually, I don't think he's gonna bring that, because I talked to him the day before the match, and he was like, people always assume that in Magnet Pull, like, this guy, I brought, like, Analytic Magneton once, and he didn't even try to switch out, and I just got a free kill with Magneton. So, basically, I'm gonna be able to outspeed any form. If I get a kill with Flame Charge, I'm already gonna be at +2, and Flame Charge is gonna two-shot this Magneton. I mean, like, honestly, we're just gonna go down anyway, but, like, if it's not Scarf Magneton and I get a kill with Earthquake, then I just outright kill this Magneton, and I might just be able to sweep from there. Then we have our Durant Choice Band, Iron Head Superpower, X-Scissor Shadow Claw, just because I need another move, and then our Trick Gardevoir. This is probably the most memey, because Gardevoir has a horrible attack stat. Like, even with 252 attack, no IVs in special attack, and a minus special attack in nature, its special attack and its attack is the exact same. However, the Choice Band is going to be really boosting that. I'm really not going to say too much about this match, because there's not really much to say. As you can see, he brings the Mawile, he brings the Mega Diancie, the Garchomp, the Magneton, the Dhelmise, the Skuntank. So this means really good things for my Dugtrio. Dugtrio really hits a lot of his team hard. It could be Rock Polish Diancie. I don't really know what sets he's going to want to bring for this. So, but either way, like, if he doesn't set up with Rock Polish, I can come in with Dugtrio, get a guaranteed kill there. I can get a guaranteed kill against the Magneton. I can get a guaranteed kill against the Skuntank. I can get a pretty much guaranteed kill against the Mawile unless he comes in and intimidates me and is fully defensive in where I'm gonna do like up to 84%. And as you can see, I decided to lead with my Dougie, and we just trapped this because I decided to switch into Durant because I really want to play really carefully with Dougie to ensure that we can win this game. I think he could be maybe Choice Band, Sucker Punch, so like I don't... CalfinChoo always has the way to really surprise me with a lot of the heat that he brings. So I'm just going to go hard into Durant, as he actually just gets up his rocks for free, which is kind of sad for me. Superpower is really not doing much, so he is pretty much fully defensive. That's fine. I'm just going to go for a Mawile. Wait, no. What am I talking about? I'm going to go for an Iron Head. He shows off the Plane Split, so good prep on his part. Sets up a Sandstorm, so we see this is like partly sand team. I'm going to explain what I did here. Now, I feel like he's going to want me to assume that I'm trapped and go for a T-Bolt. And so I decided to hard out into Dugtrio. As I predict correctly, this is not going to be Magnet Pull. It is going to be a Choice Band Explosion Magneton, and my Dugtrio is gone. So now it's a 5-5 game, and I have to find some other way to beat Mons like Skuntank and Mega Diancie. So I decided to go out straight into my Piloswine as he Toxics me, which is fine, because I just get a free kill, and this Skuntank is gone. Really makes it easier. He goes out into Dhelmise, I think, after this. Yeah, because he knows now that I'm pretty much Choice Banded. Like, I don't think he realized until after the battle that I was completely team Choice Banded. Goes for Choice Specs Energy Ball and takes out my Durant. So the memes are really coming in strong here. That Durant, oh my god. Durant is so weak on the special side. You saw, that's quad resisted, and that does so much. I mean, to be fair, Dhelmise is like, it's pretty strong especially. But we're able to get a kill with our Arcanine. He's going to go ahead and I believe he brings out the Mega Diancie at this point. So I'm not going to be wanting to play around with any of this. I don't really need this Mon at this point. So he goes for Gravity. And this is actually very good prep, because this ensures that I'm not necessarily going to be able to switch in on Garchomp with my Celesteela. So this is basically all setting up for a Garchomp sweep. So I'm going to have to preserve my Piloswine. That's going to be like my end game plan. I don't necessarily need Mons like a Gardevoir as much. Especially, it doesn't really do that much. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm pretty much just going to sack this, I think. Oh wait, no, he sets up the sandstorm to activate the sand veil on the Garchomp. Right, smart. Yeah, he goes for the Moonblast. We take it, and we're able to get a Memento off. So now I'm able to get... What am I able to get in? I think I go back into my Piloswine. Yeah. So I go back into Piloswine, and I just decide, do I predict his switch? No, I don't. But I get an Earthquake, and like that is good damage. That's over a quarter of his health. So I'm fine with that. I can just go straight back into Arcanine. So he actually misplays a bit here. I think this really costs him the game in the long run. He goes for Hidden Power. I think he has Hidden Power Fire. But basically what happens here is I predict his Mega Dynasty to come in. We get the flinch, which really doesn't matter. And wait, no, it does matter, because now I'm able to get the kill on him for sure. I mean, like, I would have come in and just, like, killed afterwards with the Celesteela. And I feel like that probably would have actually been better. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. Yes, it would have. I probably could have just swept from there, because... So, maybe, like, the flinch, like, helped him instead, because I would not have been, speed boosting, necessarily. And yeah, he wouldn't have been able to get the gravity up. Anyway, sorry, I'm like rambling. You guys probably don't understand what I'm saying. Whatever. But we are able to win this Week 8 battle 1-0, bringing a team of 6 choice bands. And I am proud of myself. I'm just going to give myself a round of applause right here, because I feel like I deserve this. For sure. Good game to Calvin. I had fun. You're really gay. Okay, so that was our Week 1 to Week 8 matches. Tomorrow I'm going to start off by playing my Week 9 match, so I decided I'm going to live comm this, because I really want myself to be under pressure to do well. I really want to focus well, and I think live comming will help me do that. And also, I'm just like really excited. This is a very pivotal match, so I think it will be more interesting to you guys if I do live comm that. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next.